this year, my expectations are literally to podium or even being like content to winning the show. That's sort of what I'm looking at is bringing back a trophy, which is my goal. Bringing back a big trophy to New Zealand, yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to Talking Strongman. I am joined by a major contender for this year's World's Strongest Man, the one and only Matt Ragg. You are pretty new to the international scene to a lot of people, but you made a big splash last year. Training's looking phenomenal. How are you feeling for Worlds this year, Matt?
Everything's pretty good. Been hitting all my numbers in training, so everything's like real good. A little few niggles here and there, but I think we all have them. I think my main goal this time going into Wales is pretty much trying to get there as healthy as I can and try not to injure myself. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's been good. Yeah,
a lot of guys getting injured in the lead up to Worlds this year. Obviously, important to just get there. Have you you got many tough sessions left, or is it more just kind of getting there healthy now?
Tonight was my last sort of heavyish fish with like assistant work and whatnot. Tomorrow's a little bit. Actually, this whole week is pretty much just like pushing the conditioning and recovering for next weekend. Yeah.
You've been posting some big old numbers. I mean, obviously you did the 460 deadlift. Was it 460?
That was earlier on in the year.
Yeah,
it was like a couple of months ago, I think.
That's right. And then you did the 425 for 3 a couple of weeks.
425, yeah. That was actually last week on Thursday. Yeah, 425. Yeah.
Clearly coming in feeling stronger than ever.
Yeah. I mean, this whole I've PB'd in pretty much every event, I would say. Maybe just there's one event where I'm kind of like haven't been able to train much of, just sort of a niggle that's been happening. But the main goal is just to like kind of keep that away and put my body on the line when wheels come.
I
leave it all out there.
That's the important thing, is getting there now, and then it's time to show people what you can do. Obviously, for those of us that follow the sport kind of closely, a lot of people are talking about you, but a lot of people also won't know who you are, which is, to a lot of people surprising. But you're fairly new to the highest level. Last year was your first World's Strongest Man. Made the final first year at Worlds, and then you went on to compete in the World Tour Finals. You placed second at the World Tour Finals behind Tom Stoltman and beating Mitch Hooper. So you're kind of proving that you are one of the top guys in the world. What have you learned last year? What's different coming in this year that kind of, I think you got a great chance of getting on the podium, and I'm sure you're going to go there to win. It's what we all do. What's different from last year? What have you learned from last year going into this year's Worlds?
So last year was sort of like a learning experience for me. I still wanted to do well. Like I still had high expectations last year. I went in last year wanting to make the finals and just sort of experience the whole, like how everything is run. Like when I got there, I was like so confused. Like even before the media stuff, a couple of days before, I was just lost with how everything was like all set out. I was like asking everyone like, well, what do I do? Blah, 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 all that. But this year, is a lot different. At least I kind of know what's going on and how things are run. It's in the same spot as well, which is good for me because I like being familiar with like my surroundings and stuff. So it sort of helps me like pressure wise, I like being around like familiar like surroundings here. Last year, I was actually 167 kgs last year going into Worlds, and I felt like I sort of burnt out as the days went on, especially in the finals. The last day in the finals, I was burnt. So this year, I've kind of come in a lot lighter, and I'm actually 158 kgs right now. So it's like 10 kgs off from last year. Body composition is a lot better.
But feeling stronger at that weight as well as fitter.
Yeah, I'm actually feeling way stronger at this weight. Fitter, stronger, and faster, pretty much. So it's pretty much a whole new package coming this year. Yeah.
It's quite funny listening to you, because I remember my first Worlds, and it was very similar. Your first Worlds is a learning experience. You're there and you want to do well, but there's so much that's happening at Worlds that's different to any other show. And obviously, you mentioned there it's a longer show. So, the one-day shows are great because you just get on with it, and what will be. But the long shows, you can give too much too early, and you end up kind of burning out before the last day of the final, before the final. Having that experience is very, very important. We see it time and time again. Yeah, there's freaks that come in and do exceptionally well, and you're one of those. You made the final at your first Worlds, but you do. I think when you've got that experience of understanding, okay, we've got the heats to get through, day of rest, the media stuff to deal with, and then the final as well. Once you have that experience, you start to learn, okay, I can't give 100% on every single event. I've got to be strategic. I've got to make sure I get to the final and then recover. And it's like competing two separate shows over a short period of time.
Yeah, pretty much. Two comps back to back.
Yeah, two comps in 5 days.
Yeah. This year, man, my expectations are quite high this year. Like, it's sort of surreal thinking about it, because like last year I was sort of like the unknown, and then this year my expectations are literally to podium or even being like content to winning the show. That's sort of what I'm looking at is bringing back a trophy, which is my goal. Bringing back a big trophy to New Zealand, yeah.
That would be the first New Zealander to ever be on the podium at Worlds?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's been another one that's even made it to the finals. I don't think. I'm not sure.
I'd have to check the history, but I can't think off the top of my head. I think the last. It's been a while. That's for sure. If there's been.
Yeah. I think Cole Wolf was the last New Zealand representative back in 2018, I believe. I'm not sure.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with Worlds coming up, obviously everyone's talking about Worlds. Everyone's talking about Mitch and Tom, and I think really, when you go beyond the Mitch and Tom, people are talking about maybe you and Evan Singleton as the next big names that can win this. Who do you see as your main opposition and the biggest threats?
Obviously Hooper. He's doing so well. Hooper and Tom would be the main threats. And I think Evan Singleton will be a fight for the podium. I'm not sure how Trey's looking. I haven't really. I'm not sure if he's recovered his Achilles yet. He could be another threat, though. You never know.
I would agree with you. I think Trey is kind of the unknown at the moment. He's looking pretty good in training, but coming back from that injury is a serious injury, and I hope he is in shape, because Trey in shape is dangerous. You probably hope he's not, because you're one of the competitors. But as a fan, we want to see all you guys, beasting each other and having an amazing competition. But yeah, I'd put Trey in there as well. There's a lot of new faces this year as well, and that was you last year as one of the new guys. Surprising people, so we could see surprise as well. Obviously, very different when you're coming from that athlete's point of view. I know you're going to be focused on doing the best you can, not getting dragged into the likes of me talking about who we think's going to do well and stuff like that. But it's always fun to pick athletes' brains and just see who you do feel is the biggest competition, because we've all got an idea. You compete with the best in the world. You see what they're doing. You'll follow their training. I'm sure you've seen what other people are doing. But you are legitimately, I've spoken to a lot of people that have you as a podium finisher at this year's Worlds. Do you feel that pressure, or do you quite like people bigging your name up and talking about you as a potential podium finisher or even potential winner?
Yeah, I definitely feel the pressure this year. Yeah, but honestly, I love the pressure. Like, I feel like I perform so much better under pressure. Like, if I'm pressured to do well, I feel like I perform better. Whereas if there's not really much pressure to do well, it's sort of like I feel like I have to step up even more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I love pressure. Even when I was at Giants, my first Giants show, I was overwhelmed, but a lot. Like the crowd was insane. Like, yeah, but I love it. Like, I was sort of just like standing there, like looking up. Like I sort of just stand there forever, and just kind of like look around. Like, yeah, it was crazy.
It is pretty insane that we do these competitions now in front of so many fans, and it's quite a
Yeah,
quick transition when you get to that level of you compete at OSG and you're kind of doing the smaller shows, and then suddenly you're at a Giants Live in front of
yeah,
10,000 fans. It is pretty special. But do
yeah.
you plan on doing like what other comps you got lined up this year? I know your focus is Worlds at the moment, but have you got your eyes set on some other big events?
Um, right now it's just Worlds, and then after that, I'm in the Giants Live show this year, but I'm not sure which one it is. They've announced me as an athlete for this year. I'm hoping it's the Vegas one actually, but I'm actually not sure yet.
Is your name not down to do
But
Vegas yet?
nah, it's not.
Oh, I think with the deadlifts you've been putting up, we need to see you in Vegas, mate.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like 100%, I know I can pull that. Like five. I mean, considering when I pulled that 460, literally like 3 days before I pulled that, I was like doing a volume PR, like no belt, stiffless. So it was, I didn't expect it. Like I went in just for fun, just to pull like in my head, I was like, I'll just pull 400. And then it kind of just went from 400 to like 440, then 460. It was out of nowhere, to be
And
honest.
it didn't look like a max effort lift. You looked like you had more in you.
Yeah. It was strange. Like I went home and I was like counting the plates. I was like, is this 460? I was just like, yeah, it was just it was strange. Yeah.
So you've not been invited, and Matt Ragg is here, Giants Live, saying he is capable of pulling 505.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that would love to see you in Vegas.
It'll be exciting.
We gotta we got to get a petition to get Matt Ragg to Vegas, definitely.
Yeah.
I think, we're getting a few guys that are closing in on those numbers. So it would be cool to see. I take it the 460 you did is the New Zealand record.
It is now,
So,
yeah.
at minimum, you go there and you break a national record, but potentially push for the world record. That would be pretty epic. Any other big events that you'd like to do? Obviously, the Shore Classics coming up, Rogue Invitation, or those shows that you'd like to get involved with?
Shore Classic would be good. um, Shore Classic, the Rogue Invitational, those two are pretty much in my head, but I mean, I need to be confirmed for both of them, which will be that'd be huge. Yeah, and then the Arnolds will be another one for next year. I'm assuming if this year goes well, I'm hoping I'm sort of on their radar. I don't know how the Arnolds works actually, like how to be on their radar. I'm not sure.
Best thing you can do is keep winning comps. If you,
Yeah, my
I'm
goal.
pretty
Yeah,
convinced if you ended up podium at Worlds, you're going to be selected for those type of shows.
yeah.
It's the selection system's a bit weird in strongman. Arnold's focused on Arnold's, World's Strongest Man focused on World's Strongest Man, and they don't seem to sort of communicate between each other. But obviously they see results, and if an athlete's doing well and consistently doing well, you can't avoid them in the end. It took Evan a little while to get invited to those big shows, but consistently winning shows, he's ended up getting invited.
Yeah.
And if you do the same, I cannot see you being ignored. You can't be ignored when you're that good. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's my goal. Be so good you can't get ignored. Can't get ignored.
Well,
Yeah.
talking of being so good, let's look at the events for World's Strongest Man. Talk me through where you feel really confident and where you feel maybe events that aren't so good. Obviously, the final events we'll look at. I'm kind of putting pressure on you, but I'm expecting you to make the final. So we're not even going to talk about the heats. I mean, you made the final last year. You're in a good stone off. Stones is a decent event for you. What have we got in the final? We've got the axle for Max. So what's your axle looking like at the moment? What do you think you're capable of?
It's been a bit tricky. Axle training. I've kind of like kept it under wraps just because of a little niggle that I've been having with my my arm.
Okay.
So I haven't really been able to train it as much as I wanted to. I'm training it out of the rack. I can't because like cleaning it just fucks up my my arm, and I'm scared I'm gonna like see what happened to Shane. Like,
Sure.
Yeah, that was scary, man. I was watching it, and then the day after was my last heavy axle, so I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna do it out of the rack." I didn't want to clean it.
Sometimes you need to be smart like that. Obviously,
Yeah.
It's not ideal when you can't sort of push how you want, but sometimes it's more important to get to the competition and you're like, okay, I'm here now I'll push. Let's move on from the axle. Obviously, you don't want to talk about that one as much.
Yeah.
Conan Circle, I've seen you do before. Very, very good event for you. You must feel confident on an event like that.
Yeah, Conan's Row, I'm hoping to win it, or at least be top two. I think it just depends the order of who gets to go first, or who gets to go last. I'm assuming that's pretty much how it's going to come down to who wins it. I'm assuming because it'll be hard to go first. Like if I was to go first in Conan's World, it'll be tricky. Like, do I go all out, or yeah, it'll be a hard one.
It's one of those events. Having the markers definitely helps. Just thinking.
What's before Conan's? Is it?
I don't know the order of the events.
Oh, I think it's I can't remember actually. I think Conan's is before Stone, so
it'll either be maybe deadlift or the throw. I should imagine something like that.
Yeah.
I should imagine they'll start off with the medley, which is the frame and yoke. How are you feeling for that one?
Good. Yeah. I think it's a 350 frame into a 460 yoke, 20 meters both way. Feeling pretty strong. I'll finish it definitely. Yeah, it'll just come down to how fast I finish it. And yeah,
we've obviously spoken about your deadlift. That's looking phenomenal right now. So deadlift, I presume you're expecting big points on.
Yeah. My plan is to win deadlift, kick toss. Surprisingly,
you plan to win the kick toss?
Yeah, I don't think not many people know, but I'm actually quite good at weight for height stuff. Like,
yeah,
we do a lot of that here in New Zealand. Well, I think I'm good at it. I'm not sure. Like, I haven't done it in an actual event where there's like other good guys. So we'll soon find out. But I'm planning to win that deadlift and Conan's. Well, there'll be 3 events.
Nice.
So
yeah, like to be honest, I mean, I hadn't seen you do weight for height, so I had no sort of guide to go off. But you've got an idea of people that will be good. I should imagine Tom will be very good at the weight for height. Mitch will be decent. Obviously, it's hard to tell with weight for height because you'll get guys that are surprisingly good that maybe we don't know so much about, or athletes that maybe aren't the strongest, but they're good at that kind of event. It's one of those that sometimes you're not one of the top guys in the world, but you're really good at certain events, and they can cause people problems. But yeah, if you go win that one, it's going to upset the apple carts a bit for the likes of Mitch and Tom. I'm sure of that, because they'll be looking to take.
That's what I've got in my head anyway. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I would never know until I actually try it, but
honestly, there's nothing wrong with kind of sitting there. I used to do it all the time. You go to a competition and you look at your opposition and go, okay, best case scenario, worst case scenario, and somewhere in between. And you should be going there thinking, I'm good at this event. I can win this one. I did exactly the same. I know Mitch does the same. Probably doing the same. We can't predict what's going to happen at the end of the day, but if training's gone well and you're feeling good at it, that's fantastic, mate.
I was happy with that change.
What's that? Yeah. You were happy with the change?
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, oh, finally get to show my weight for height.
You're not such a fan of the arm over arm?
It's just a bit. I hate because that comp is going to end up to be a lot of like pulling like your bicep. You know, I hate it too much on the arms. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. I agree. I think it's a good change. I think because it's weight for height as well, and the weight's not super heavy, we're going to see some extremely high throws. So visually, that should look pretty cool. And obviously, finishing on the Atlas stones, you're a decent stone lifter.
Yeah, top two in that. We'll see. It's weird because last year at Worlds, I think I actually came last in stones, and I was surprised. I didn't realize it until I got home, and I was like, fuck, I came last in stones. Like, it took me by surprise.
You had a stone off against, was it Ivers you were on the stone off against?
Yeah, Ivers, yeah.
So do you think that took anything out of you? Because obviously people always talk about the stone off, and the ideal scenario is you don't do the stone off. You win the group, you get through without doing that stuff. We saw with Brian Shaw, his brutal stone off with Rauno. That was epic, and it kind of destroyed him. Were you feeling it a bit by the stones then after having to do?
I was smashed by the stones. Like even picking up the first stone, I felt it. It felt heavy, and I was like, yeah, I'm fucked.
People that haven't competed at Worlds just don't understand it. They look at the weights and they think, okay, crazy, I can do that. But you try doing it after, the length of the competition, not just the physical, but the mental energy that you expend there as well, trying to keep on top of everything, dealing with all the different sort of the social media interviews, the TV interviews, kind of meeting fans. There's a lot to deal with. And it's not like a one-day show where you get yourself up, you compete, you do the interviews before, you get yourself up, you kind of meet people afterwards, and then it's done. Yeah. But you're almost doing this on a daily basis. It's kind of get yourself up. All right, I've got to bring myself down, calm everything down. Then you get yourself up the next day. It's that multiple repetition of doing that thing every single day that 3, 4, 5 days in, the body just goes, oh.
Yeah, it does.
But you've got the experience now, makes a big difference. You're going to go in as one of the seeds, I should imagine.
I'm hoping I get a bit of seeding this year. I actually don't even know. I think is there 15 new guys?
I believe there is slightly less than 15 new guys. I don't know. I need to double check. Liz will know. She knows all the stats on that. Maybe Liz will put like a little note in at the bottom of the screen to let you guys know. But there is a lot of new faces, and that can be, we talk about the favorites, but there's new guys that could do very well as well. And you were one of those new guys last year. Yako was one of the new guys last year. He surprised a lot of people, did amazingly well. So there's always that potential. But it's exciting because we might see new stars like yourself coming through. It's it's always a shame when some of the big names get injured, but it gives new athletes an opportunity, and it doesn't mean these new guys are not more hungry, they're not healthier, they're sometimes, will do better than some of the older guys that we've kind of grown to love.
Is everyone getting injured by the axle or?
No, I think Novikov hurt his bicep on stones. Obviously, Shane hurt himself on the axle. There's, Kilishkovsky hurt himself on the yoke, which he ended up doing his Achilles. So there's various different injuries happening. It's just tough. Strongman's brutal. It is important to manage your body. I think, what you said earlier, when you work with a coach, and, I coach people, so just people watching, just because it's down on paper to do something, sometimes you as the athlete have to be smart and think, okay, today I shouldn't do this. My body's not feeling it. Instead of cleaning the axle, I'm going to press out the rack. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And it's, I just want people to know that.
He was all for it. Like, he's been real good with telling me to kind of let my arm settle down.
It is important to listen to the body. Super, super important, because it's a brutal sport that we're doing. It really is. Yeah. So you got the Don't Sleep on Ragg t-shirts ready to go. you're
Yeah.
ready to step it up,
Yeah.
mate. It's I wish you the best of luck. It's really cool getting to hang out with you more at the World Tour Finals.
Yeah.
Becoming a big fan and enjoy watching you compete. It's amazing watching the strength level that you're kind of increasing at. I really want to see you get invited to the Deadlift World Championships because
Oh man, yeah.
that's going to be.
I know I'll pull the 505. I want to tell him when I see him. He'll be there at Will, so I'll tell him.
Make sure you do, mate. Make sure you
Yeah.
do. They would love to have you there. I'm sure of it. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people watching will be keen to see you get to World, smash it, and then go on and do some epic things for the rest of the year. Am I right in thinking that you've probably got the longest journey out of everyone to get to Worlds?
I think so.
When do you travel?
Saturday morning. So I fly out in the morning here, and I get there to the 13-hour flight, a 4-hour flight, a 3-hour flight, and a 1-hour flight. I think something like that. Yeah.
You got 4 flights to do.
Like Sydney, LA, Charlotte, and then Myrtle Beach. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, 4. Three or 4. Yeah. Yeah.
That is brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. I feel for you. But this is part of what we do.
Yeah. Actually, flying to the UK was worse. Like that was brutal. Like lucky I went 2 weeks before.
Yeah,
that was hard. Like, I think it was like an 18-hour flight, like one way. Like sorry to.
Is that one of the reasons you don't compete that often? Just because it's not like, for the European guys, it's a 4-hour flight. Even to America, it can be 5 to 7-hour flight for, a lot of people.
Yeah.
But for you to get anywhere other than Australia, you're talking, really harsh traveling time.
Yeah, I sort of pick and choose what comps I want to do. Like the ones that sort of matter, or the ones that will kind of get me to a higher place, I guess. I did Beast of Burden in Australia in January, which was good. Yeah, it was up against I think Eddie Williams and a new guy called BJ Stone. I think he came second. Yeah.
Cool. Is there any other good New Zealand athletes on the way up that we should be looking out for in the next few years?
There's a guy that I train with. He's coming up. I think he's doing OXG this year, so it'll be good to look out for him. His name's Tiano Flatapui. I think I pronounced it right. Yeah.
You've got one of the easiest names to say from New Zealand. You see some of the guys; they've got some real interest.
Yeah. No, I'm a white New Zealander.
Yeah. It makes my job easier. I don't fuck up names when I'm trying to pronounce them. Mate, best of luck. It's I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you've just been training. It's quite late where you are. Good luck with the last few training sessions. Have a safe trip to World's Strongest Man. Thank you very much for coming to chat with us and all the best. If anyone wants to follow Mr. Ragg, where can they find you on social media?
I'm on Instagram under Ragg Strongman, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. Just Instagram.
Right. Yeah. This is a man that he's not a big trash talker. He's someone that just backs up with amazing performances in competition. It's a pleasure to chat to you, buddy. Best of luck at Worlds. And
thanks for having me on.
For coming on. No problem at all.